The 1903 Springfield. One of the guns that got me started in collecting. I want to get back to talking about my World War II collection because that's I lied. My favorite is World War I. However, World War II is a close second for me. I have a Remington 1903 rifle. It's a 1941. Just like this one here. Actually, this is not. This is a 1944. Let me slow myself down because I'm excited. In my adventures today, I went and picked up a frame I got for one of my other pistols that needed a frame replacement. And when I went in there, of course, I had to see something that's gonna take my money. I was trying to be responsible and save. Doesn't seem like I'm able to do it, but I found a very important piece for my collection. Something that I've wanted for a long time, and something I don't think I would have found unless I stopped in today. I think that sometimes you find things that are meant for you. They're waiting there for you to pick them up. Anyway, what I have here is a Rock Island Arsenal 1903 rifle, 1903 Springfield. Where did it come from? Well, it's that same old story you always hear. The granddaughter, the wife got a hold of the collection. The old man passed away and they found his rifle and gun collection and brought it to the pawn shop. Looking around, I seen a couple different rifles that came in. The first one to catch my eye was this. Now, it's not in pristine condition, and that's part of the reason for today's video, because I'm going to work on restoring it. It doesn't need a complete restoration, but it does need a little bit of TLC. I could tell it's been in a closet for some time before coming to my collection. Looking at the rifle, I found a couple cracks. I have a crack right here. It doesn't appear to go all the way through. I got a crack right here on the foregrip and a crack here. Now, I wouldn't say I paid a premium, but I did get a decent deal on this. Original cartouches on here. This was re-arsenaled for World War II, but it has the straight stock configuration. For those of you unfamiliar with 1903 Springfields, you got the straight scant, which was a batch of stocks that they made a mistake and didn't have enough material to make the third variation, a C stock, like a pistol grip. So my other one is a scant. I have a 03A3, which is a C stock, and now I have my straight stock. I previously did own a straight stock 03. However, below a certain serial number, they're unsafe to fire because the receiver, which ties in with my knife making, was tempered incorrectly. So I got rid of that one, and now I have filled that hole in my collection again with this guy. This one is a 1920 receiver, between 1919 and 1920, re-arsenaled with a high standard barrel from November 1944. It's got the ordnance symbol on top here. A little rusty. I have a problem with my Remington. It's shot out. The barrel's no good. This one here, I dropped the bolt out and I looked down it, and it had a shiny, nice bore. Sorry to point at the camera. And of course it's clear. I don't even think I have any 30-06 left. My buddy, who is an authority on these, told me that possibly, and I'm not going to bank on it, I don't need any kind of special story attached to my guns. These were Marine Corps guns, because the high standard barrel on the Rock Island Arsenal receiver. Now around this era when these came out, the 03A3 was standard as well as the M1 Garand, which a lot of people in the war effort didn't get until late in the war because of shipment issues. A lot of them sunk during D-Day on the way over. Believe it or not, during D-Day there was, I could be wrong in the number, supposed to be 100 or so tanks that were supposed to come over, and only, I want to say, if a handful made it because they were all sunk, along with a bunch of M1 Garands, or Garand, however people want to pronounce it. I know I'll get beat up for it. But this appears to be an original sling. It's got some kind of mold or old oil on it. So I'm excited to clean up this stock, try and maybe reabsorb these cracks. Maybe they can absorb oil. And I got movement here because the screw is loose, but who knows how long it's been touched. The guys at the shop don't really do anything to restore these or anything like that. So as a recap here, this is the 1920/1944 Re-Arsenal 1903 Springfield Rock Island Arsenal straight stock. And I'll be doing some video about me restoring this one. Now, real quick, in my previous videos, you've seen me with the Remington Speedmaster 5.52. I just got bit by a friggin' mosquito. That's why I don't wear shorts. Anyway, I found its predecessor, the Remington 550-1. So So with the 550-1 with the physical dash here, it's a newer model. It's post, it says it's post 1949. Pretty excited about this 22, mainly because it's clear. What makes this so exciting is that it shoots 22 short, 22 long, and long rifle, but it also cycles the CB shorts, essentially making this into a 22 pellet gun. I know it's a real gun, but it's a 22 pellet gun now, because those 22 CB shorts sound even quieter than a pellet rifle. And they cycle, which is amazing on this. So you'll see more video on this with my 5.52. Very excited to have this. I never thought I would own one or find one, especially for 150 bucks. And it's already tapped for a side-mounted scope. Great condition. I haven't really done much with it yet. Literally, I got it maybe 2-3 hours ago. So you're going to see a lot of this guy here. That 5.52 might even go to sleep for a while I play with this guy, because supposedly these are pretty good tack drivers. So that pretty much encompasses what I wanted to talk about here for this video. Very excited about this Rock Island. It's in the 400,000 range of serial numbers, so it's safe. Just got to clean her up. I may even start digging into it right now, cleaning up the stock and whatnot. Run a cleaner down the barrel, because I really want to make out some of these cartouches on the side and look for any other surprises on here, and make sure that this actually screws in, because that could be an issue later on. But I can find a stock. It's just important that when you look for these, that the barrel is good shape and the bore. You don't want to have a large amount of headspace on your receiver, or else it won't function properly like you want it to. So I may or may not film clips of me restoring the rifle. It would make for a good video, but something like this, a little intricate, it could be possible, but stay tuned. I'll be back again with an update, at the very least the finished product. A lot of work, but I love to do it. Take care. The 1903 Springfield rifle. I filled this crack here, which is common from the recoil and lack of oiling. Dried out and created some cracks in the stock here. Got a crack there as well. I filled in. It needs to be stained. However, going forward, I want to do more videos regarding World War II, World War I, any war that I have memorabilia from, and talk about them in depth. 3 variations of this rifle. You've got the straight stock, which you see here, the scant, which will come out a bump off here and down, and then you got the C stock, which is a full pistol grip, which comes from the back of the trigger guard down and then back up. I have an example of the other two, what I wanted to pick up a straight stock, but I'll get into why I turned around and got another straight stock and sold the other one I used to have years ago. The serial number, very important. This serial number puts this one around 1920. Well, how can that be, since the barrel is 1944? Well, it's a high standard barrel. This was re-arsenaled sometime in the 40s, late 40s. Well, I'm sorry, it wouldn't have been the late 40s, early to mid 40s. This receiver probably was sitting around in peacetime, and during World War II they needed more rifles, so they put this barrel on there close to the end of the war. About a year remaining by the time November 1944 hit. Being a 407,000 serial number, putting it in 1920, anything pre 250,000 serial number, stay away from it. That's the idea behind this guy here, the hatcher hole. Now, if I was going to go into the history of the whole design of this rifle, it would take all night. However, the hatcher hole was for those earlier models, mainly because what had happened during a dark, dingy day like today, when the men were tempering by eye out of the forge, this receiver would look the perfect color to handle the temperature and pressures of the cartridges 30-06. Now, if it was a bright and sunny day, they could be over hardened, making this whole receiver basically into a frag grenade. Stay away from anything 1904 to 1908 if you can. I, however, made the mistake of purchasing one produced in 1907. The other thing too is, if you're collecting these World War II rifles, don't worry about the numbers matching. Nothing ever matches on a US rifle from that era. What matters most is that it's a good example of the rifle. This one here has its original Rock Island Arsenal stock. As I pointed out, it had a crack. I filled that in with the JB Weld wood epoxy. Seems to hold up pretty nice. The other thing you want to look for is right here on the magazine selector cutoff. You want to make sure that this area was not welded at any point in time, making this into a drill rifle for ceremonies and shows, parades, whatever. How can you find one of these? Well, I found this one in a pawn shop. They wanted $850, and I asked, is that the best you can do? And I got 100 off. So I got it for 750 bucks, which I was happy about that deal. Because 20 years ago when I seen one, maybe 15 years ago, they were going for $1,000 for the Rock Island Arsenal out of New York. To me, this is a more sought after model, as Springfield is most common, Remington being the second most common, and Rock Island not having as many made, mainly a World War I manufacturer. The fact that it has a high standard barrel, I don't know if you can see the HS on the top there, lends to the fact that it could be a Marine Corps re-arsenal. So, when you go into a shop to purchase one of these, look at three main things. Do you have all the parts, all the metal? Is this receiver drilled into? And is it a former drill rifle? Secondly, you can get away with it if it's a spotorized model, if the aforementioned areas check out. Namely, it's got the original barrel, the original receiver, original sights, and somebody didn't put a peep sight or something like that on it. I've done this before and rebuilt it from a sporterized version. Missing the top strap. It's cut right there at the front barrel band. This piece of metal's missing. It can be done. Make sure the serial number is safe to fire, especially for the 1903s. Do your research online. Also, make sure the headspace is good. If you have a go, no-go gauge, that's good to have. Make sure the barrel is not shot out. It's not full of rust. And I would say lastly, and I'm going over 3 reasons here, but bear with me. You make sure that it wasn't a situation where a foreign country captured them and rechambered them in a different caliber. You go and buy that caliber, shoot the rifle, and something bad happens like a squib and you blow your barrel like a banana peel. Not something that you want to happen. I had that almost happen with a Steyr Mannlicher that I had, and basically it was labeled 8x50R rimmed, and it was really 8x56 rimmed because on the receiver was a little dash through the S for Steyr, meaning it was a Turkish capture and rechambered. That could happen. The most common rechambering you'll see for these, rare if any, mostly in the M1 Garand, is 308 rechambering, but you'll know. But to conclude this video, I'll just say, going forward with my videos, I'm going to go more into World War I, World War II, and talk about the bread and butter of why I'm infatuated with these rifles and some of those handguns. Moving away from the Glocks and all that. I got pieces missing from my collection. I don't have the best collection, but I have some pretty good stuff. And this 1903, very happy to add it to my collection. $750. This one's going to stay with me for quite some time. I don't think I'll ever sell it. Even more concrete in that will be after I shoot it and see what kind of grouping I get, which I think will be a pretty tight group out of this guy, and it will be my favorite. Maybe even enter into some competition with it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Any questions, comments, anything you want to tell me in the comments, feel free. Have a good night. Thank you.